paid to the order of 2 BJ Jones. I'm, keeping my name, under alias. Paid to the order of such and such amount of dollars and such cents, made out by Maria Gonzaga de la Verga. Had the school's name on it, had the address, had the zip code, had everything in ink. Serial numbers, anything and everything that you would expect on a check, including a watermark. That benchmark, that seal that's supposed to, verify and authenticate. Yeah, authenticate the check, the check's origin. It had all that shit. So I'm making my way to the bank. I'm getting ready to cash this thing. Well, really, in my mind, I'm verifying to see if it's even cashable. And people, would y'all believe me after saying everything that I just said? That my bank teller, and I'm glad she did this, told me the check was a fraud. Oh, this thing went into part two. That's all right. People, the check was a fraud. It was a forge. Now, and here's how incredibly deceitful this bitch was. The school was real, and I know that because I looked the school up. The bank was real. We knew that because she looked up the bank. Whatever bank it was down there, like down in Miami Heights or whatever the hell city down there, the bank was actually real. It was an actual bank. The problem was it was the check. The check was a forge, even with the watermark seal. In other words, she was trying to run okey doke. And had we not discovered that, I don't even know if I should give credit to myself or just say, had she not known that or discovered that, had it been an inexperienced bank teller who went ahead and cashed that check, that shit would have bounced. And my shit would have been damn near $4,000 in the red. $4,000 in the negative. Now, you think it's bad now with all these people who've, lost their jobs and everything. Could you imagine? You want to talk about being fucked. You would be fucked if you actually had an economy by which you literally had to dig your way, you had to dig your way out of the dirt. I would have had to take some kind of loan out or something just to pay for that debt, and then I would have been fucked. Needless to say, completely fucked. But $4,000 in the red in a time like this where most people are unemployed due to being furloughed from their jobs. They said here in Colorado or in Denver alone that there was so many people who had applied for unemployment that they ended up crashing the website. So I know it's critical out here. It's serious. And I'm sure glad that she did figure this out to be the fraud that it was. Because this isn't the first time that I've cashed checks that were written out in my name or written out for me by people. Back when I was a lot younger, folks in my family would write checks out to me all the time for my birthday and stuff of that nature. So I was pretty you know, so I'm pretty used to the drill. It's just that this snake down there in Florida could have and would have, I mean, that shit would have destroyed me. And see, you have to understand my situation. Though I live in Denver, Colorado, I'm not from Denver, Colorado. All it takes for me to have my legs tucked between my tail and possibly sent back to Memphis, even though I've made up in my mind I'm never going back to that goddamn city, especially at a time like now. What can Memphis do for me now? And I mean, whatever, God forbid I gotta go through, but if I gotta go through, I'm going through here, where at least I have a fighting chance. But man, can you imagine going through or living? Can I imagine living in Memphis during a time like the coronavirus pandemic? Fuck no. Fuck no. Even though when you think about it, to be honest, with them saying that the economy, I mean, I don't see. To be honest, I don't see how this affecting most Memphis folks. With the exception that y'all can't get a hold of that good food that y'all got down there. Y'all can't really fuck with Crystals and Jack Purtles like that, or Backyard Burgers. Because I mean, Memphis didn't have much of an economy to begin with, so I don't even see how this affecting most folk down there. Come on now, a city whose average annual or whose average household annual income is less than 25,000. Yeah, 25,000. Third in the nation in poverty. What effect did the coronavirus have on y'all? It would have affected me working where I was working. It would have been non-essential. Man, I can only imagine all them temp agencies out there. But anyway, back to my point. So I really say this as a lesson as far as um, what the foreign language biz is all about, and this is coming from someone who speaks a multitude, many of foreign languages, because it it lets me know that this whole game, as far as the foreign language biz, at the end of the day, is indeed a nothing burger. And it's the most confusing of shit, because you wonder to yourself, how is it that something so unique and so essential can be so insignificant at the same time? Because people around the world speak different languages, so it behooves the individual who can do it to learn a multitude of languages, and if he or she can make profit off of it. You would think such profit would be available. If such wasn't the case, there would be, the job description of translator wouldn't exist. So take it from someone who's graduated, who has pretty much a worthless degree in 3 languages, who tries to go for some sort of passive income and damn near gets burned doing so. I would warn anybody, I would tell anybody, if you're gonna do foreign languages, if you're gonna learn foreign languages, That's all well and good, but you need to have the same kind of regard for it as you would chess, Sudoku, some brain teaser game, some game that's designed to help keep your mind sharp, but at the same time it's nothing that you can really take serious because apparently some people actually make money playing games like chess, and at this point I would say I'd rather do that than deal with foreign languages, trying to get hired by some contractor or some customer online that's paying me to translate this, that, or the third. Because this is exactly what can happen to you. This is these are the kind of dangers that are lurking in the water. And with a clientele, and I hate to put a little racist element in it, but with a clientele coming anywhere from south of the border, I'm not really surprised. I'm really not. So, in regards to foreign languages, because I'm pretty sure y'all can tell just by the tonality of my voice that I'm very passionate about foreign languages, and I would like to think so because I've devoted the past 14 years studying and acquiring, you know, a multitude of them. But we just have to face the facts for what it is. And, life is all about evolving, all about evolution. And one thing that I refuse to become is the starving artist. Because that's another nothing burger that I didn't even engage in. I already knew that, you know, as much as I appreciate art, there's no money in it. There's nothing you can do with it unless you come up with some kind of way to, I don't know, involve it in web development or something. I mean, I don't know, because it what this lesson tells me is that I'm going to have to evolve, and I have been evolving in such a way to where I basically present these languages based on my own platform, meaning that I'm not translating for anybody, I'm not working under a contract. I basically have my own website where I'm selling a product, which is effectively learning these languages that I've spent years learning to master, acquire, and go from there. Because as far as I've gone in this planet, it seems I haven't gone far enough as far as evolution. But at least I mean, I can say this much: she almost tried. She tried to get old B, but you know what they say: you can't fool a fool. You can't. Yeah, you can't fool an old fool. You can't. Cause trust me, when it comes to getting swindled, fucked over, dealing with shisty ass people, who at the end of the day, come on now, that's what motherfuckers in Memphis do. I mean, we do this shit, and we all some hustlers, but some motherfuckers are just some shisty ass hustlers. Well, and will fuck you in a heartbeat out your money, like it ain't shit. So I already knew something was in the water. I'm like, this is happening way too fast. It's way too much, way too fast. I mean, who does that? Who charges someone $1,400 for an assignment, and then they retort, well, let me give you more than twice as much, and actually, and then cuts the check, and it's prompting you, pressuring you, egging you on to cash it as soon as possible. Come on now. So don't think. I swear to God, a lot of people look at me and they think just because I don't run my mouth that I'm just some square. Like, I know game. I know how this shit works. That's why when it comes to that whole, that whole platform of me letting the world know, trust me, people, I've been real hush hush since I've been out here, as far as what I know, what I can do, and the talents, this, that, and the third. As far as the languages that I know, all that shit. I'm real hush hush. Don't nobody know shit. As far as they're concerned, I'm just another nigga out here. Just as dumb, just as low IQ, just as prone to doing some dumb, stupid ass nigga shit that'll just land a nigga in jail. And not to mention the homeless population out here. So they see that I'm not wearing my Gucci and or wearing a Gucci. I ain't got no Gucci clothes. They suspected me of being a homeless dude. And I actually like it like that. That's what I need. I don't want these motherfuckers to think that I got some. We strike, motherfuckers like me strike from the shadows. That's where our power abides in, from the shadows. They don't need to know that shit. They don't need to know that before I left Memphis I knew as many as 42 languages. I dare say 50. Because my language learning hasn't gone down, it's actually gone up. I mean, but, in my process of evolution, I've learned to prioritize things like coding, things like comp science. Just like the whole lesson with the journalist. Journalism, I'm surprised journalism got as far as it did, to be honest. Because who actually needs a journalist? I mean, in the digital world that we live in. So that's just my lesson on, or that's just my episode of basically you live and you learn. And how fortunate I was, because actually to add more to that story, yeah, my bank teller actually told me that some poor bastard actually did what I did, but he actually went to an inexperienced bank teller and she did cash the check, and his ass ended up getting in the red due to some bullshit like that. Because somebody wrote him a bad check, and just like they always do, they bounced. I mean, his shit bounced, and he was so much, he was so many dollars in the red, and it ain't no telling how long it took him to get out. So red pill awareness in and of itself lets us know of just the dangers that are lurking, waiting to just fuck us out of our money. Because it seems to me that society is well aware of the fact that we men are indeed the breadwinners. And even though they swear that they don't want to have shit to do with us, the fact of the matter is that we bring home the dough. And they always gonna want some money. They always gonna want some resources, no matter what they think about you. That's why I say it's actually a good thing that when people see me, and it ain't like I just be going around just wearing trashy clothes and it's just I'm not wearing a two-piece suit. And these are supposed to be the mountains, but it's like these are the mountains, but it's like mountain people clearly aren't here. So to me it's the most crazy shit. I'm thinking I'm gonna be run. Maybe I need to go to Wyoming to find that kind of, that mountain man, that rigorous mountain man mentality that I was thinking could be found here. But no, I'm just looking at a bunch of city slickers up in the mountains. This shit is ridiculous, and it gets cold like a motherfucker up here. And they'll still be wearing, rather than dressing for the weather, they'll be up here, dressing like they're getting ready to go to some damn ball. The meet, the dance with Cinderella or some motherfucking body. But no, I'm glad that they, if they see me in that way, that that's how they see me, because a lot of motherfuckers are in the red now, but some of us ain't even down, much less out. And that's not me tooting my horn. I'm just stating the situation. With me still making money and still, basically maintaining my job security, I bet I'm probably a nigga of value to an extent. So with me saying what I just said, striking from the shadows, I don't want to be seen. I don't want to be heard. I don't want to be found. I don't want to be seen. I don't want to be heard. I don't want to be found. So whatever kind of energy that these motherfuckers, I'd say to them, keep that same energy. Because, my heart goes out to a lot of people out here who've gotten hit by this, especially people who have families. But at the same time, all the motherfuckers who I had to go through, when I think about those motherfuckers, and when I think of how frequent I ran into motherfuckers like that, am I as really sympathetic about this situation as I claim to be, considering that I've gone through it myself? People, I've been furloughed from jobs. I've been in situations where